What's going on?
That's John Lee, the current champ.
He's never been defeated. Holds also records, including the fastest KO.
Welcome back to Thinking Critical. This is Wes. I hope everyone is doing well. In today's video, I'm going to give my thoughts on the new information coming out from Warner Brothers about the upcoming Suicide Squad reboot and its implications on the DCEU. Warner Brothers recently announced the Suicide Squad reboot, written by fired MCU director James Gunn and titled The Suicide Squad, will release on August 6, 2021. This information was released along with upcoming dates for Matt Reeves' The Batman minus Ben Affleck, as well as the DC Super Pets movie. Suicide Squad 2 was originally to be written and directed by the accountant director Gavin O'Connor, but it was confirmed in October 2018 that James Gunn would take over writing duties on a Suicide Squad soft reboot. It now appears it will be a full-on reboot and will not follow continuity for the upcoming Harley Quinn vehicle, Birds of Prey. David Ayer's original Suicide Squad film in 2016 also heavily featured the Harley Quinn character, played by Margot Robbie. Ayer's 2016 film had a rush production which showed in the final product, but it was a financial success with an impressive $750 million haul at the global box office. It's also being reported that Gunn will likely direct the Suicide Squad reboot. Reports indicate Gunn's focus is to take the franchise in a new direction with a mostly all-new cast of characters and actors. I predict Amanda Waller, played by Viola Davis, will be the only actor to return to the previous role. Of course, Mr. Gunn is infamous after being fired from the MCU's successful Guardians of the Galaxy franchise after old tweets joking about pedophilia, among other things, came to light. I was personally not in favor of the firing, but I understood it, as Marvel Studios falls under the Disney umbrella. Disney is, of course, the industry leader in children's entertainment, and his continued involvement could have done long-term damage to the Disney brand and possibly even the MCU. I'm still a bit shocked Warner Brothers has decided to take him on board so soon after his dismissal from the industry leader, but he has a proven track record with superhero franchises, and the DCEU could certainly use some consistent success at the box office. Although I do believe his Guardians of the Galaxy entry into the MCU is greatly responsible for the more homogenous approach they've taken as of late, and the silly humor that is evident in almost all the MCU films since its release. Also of note, it's being reported that Zack Snyder will serve as an executive producer of the Suicide Squad reboot. Mr. Snyder helmed the first two entries in the DCEU, Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. He also led principal photography of the Justice League movie before Joss Whedon took over and finished the production. I'm a bit surprised Snyder is still involved with the DCEU, as all three films are considered divisive at best by longtime fans. I understand some people are still clamoring for the Snyder cut of Justice League, but I personally had my fill of Snyder-led DCEU films and hope he never returns to the director's chair. Snyder and Gunn have worked together previously, as Snyder directed Gunn's Dawn of the Dead zombie script released in 2004. And talking about the planned production of the Suicide Squad film really gets to the heart of my concerns with the DCEU. Warner Brothers' indecision and wish-wash management style has left the DCEU besieged by constant announcements, only to be followed by further announcements that contradict what they've already stated. Compare that with the MCU, and you can see why the DCEU hasn't taken off like its counterpart. In 11 years, there have been 4 major changes on planned MCU films. Ed Norton was replaced by Mark Ruffalo for reportedly being difficult to work with. Terrence Howard was replaced by Don Cheadle over a contract dispute. Edgar Wright was replaced as director of Ant-Man by Peyton Reed due to differences with the studio. And finally, the Inhumans film was removed from the MCU Phase 3 schedule, seemingly lost during the divorce between MCU frontman Kevin Feige and Ike Perlmutter. That's it. 4 major changes in 11 years from the MCU. Think about that for a minute. Does Warner Brothers and DC Films make it through a quarter without at least 10 major changes to the release schedule and creative talents? The MCU has been led by Kevin Feige for most of its run, and has experienced unparalleled levels of success and franchise stability. In contrast, the DCEU is beset by constant turmoil and announcements of films that never get into production. Warner Brothers has never had a single figurehead in charge of the DCEU for an extended time. At first, it seemed like Snyder was in charge. Then he was reportedly replaced by Joss Whedon, who was to direct an upcoming Batgirl film. Of course, Whedon was out of DC Films not long after, and the Batgirl film left in limbo. Not even Joss Whedon, the man behind the first Avengers film, can get a project greenlit and into production at Warner Brothers DCEU. Of course, the DCEU has experienced some major successes the last few years. Wonder Woman was the first true breakout hit in the franchise and exceeded all expectations, and Aquaman followed suit in late 2018. I've heard some good buzz about the upcoming Shazam film, but it doesn't appear to take the character and history serious enough for my taste. Is anyone excited for the Joker standalone film nobody asked for? Just this week we got a teaser trailer and some hype for the previously mentioned Birds of Prey film. Every fan of the comic series I know that's seen it couldn't be less enthused about the project. The DCEU is in need of a stable vision to lead the franchise and reap more rewards from the ongoing superhero film boom. You would think Geoff Johns would be a perfect fit for this role, but it sounds like he's been played as a scapegoat for decisions that were never really in his pay grade. Perhaps Paul Dini is the way to go. His stewardship of the DC animated universe is beloved by fans. How about Wonder Woman director Patty Jenkins? She seems to know how to lead a successful DCEU project. There are plenty of candidates, but Warner Brothers needs to implement a single driving force in the DCEU and get some stability in the franchise. I have little to no faith that the Suicide Squad or any other film on the DC schedule will be released until it is. They promised so many films at this point. Gotham City Sirens, The Green Lantern Corps, Justice League Part 2, Man of Steel 2, Suicide Squad 2, just to name a few. And how many stars can they afford to lose before A-listers stop listening to their pitch? Seemingly, Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, Jared Leto, Will Smith, and others are all out of future DCEU films. So to sum up this rant I've been on, Warner Brothers Studios, get your DCEU shit together. You're an absolute embarrassment compared to the MCU. Of course, these are just my opinions on the state of the DCEU. What say you? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. I would appreciate it very much. It helps us attract more views for the channel. Subscribe for future commentary, comic book news, and reviews. And don't forget to ring the bell for notifications. If you want to talk comics, movies, and much, much more, you can follow me on Twitter at Wes_from_TC. With that, Salamat Po, and I'm out.